What is up, guys? So right now what I'm doing, I'm actually prepping the quarter panel. Actually, I'm gonna be doing the whole car if anything. I'm gonna try to prep whatever I can at the moment. Some other parts that I'm having a little bit of trouble is the piece where it started fading off. That gets a little bit hard to sand down because it's a pretty big like thick layer that obviously got faded, so it's kind of hard to get that out. So I got to use a really hard grit. Like I'm using a 120 grit because it's pretty strong to be able to remove all of that, and then I'm gonna go after it with a 180 and then a 400, and then I'm gonna go with the 800 before I start primering. So I finished up with the hiding the rivets. As you can see, this is where I bonded up. This one you can still feel it a little bit, but I've already gone through the same spot a bunch of times. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Every time it seems to be pressure on the over fender, it tends to crack up a little bit. So I think with this one I'm just gonna leave it. Everything else seems to be holding fine. I had one right here. You guys can't really see it, but I had one right there. I had one right there. One right here. One right here, and then one right there. One back here, and most of it's already all gone. I already got everything sanded down. Got everything else prepped. As you can see, the whole quarter panel is prepped up. Now I'm gonna go with the door and then prep this fender, so that way I know if there's any pits and I can go over it. But most likely all of this seems to be fitting properly, so I might just end up primering one side for now to see how everything seems to look. Might be hard to hear me because the AC is on, but right here there's a lot of fades. You can see where let's see, that's where it was faded. All this, I kind of went through all that and fixed it, and that's the only little troubles I was having. But another piece that I'm trying to deal with right now is the side skirt. I don't want my side skirts to be having these bolts. Obviously these are just to mock up the whole kit and test fit it all. Obviously I had to trim the whole side skirt and everything, but I think the only bolt that's actually going to be showing out of the whole kit is going to be this one, because there's no way I can have this touch the panel of the car without it flaring out and looking all retarded. So that's going to probably be the only one. I'm actually going to rivet it, or maybe just use a self-tapping screw. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to have to find something to do with that. And then because I can easily hide these two with the whole kit, but any little thing I hit, it's going to crack and it's going to show anyways, and I don't want to paint the whole car with the whole kit on. The only thing I'm going to have to keep on is going to be the rear bumper, because the rear bumper seems to stick out like about an inch or half an inch off of the quarter panel. So I'm using a self-tapping screw that bolts all the way through. Can't find the hole anymore wherever I did it, but right here. So that holds it all the way through for it to not stick out as far and ugly. So that is going to be hidden, but the rear bumper is going to have to stick with that, and I'm going to paint the whole car with the rear bumper on. It's really not that much of a panel that is going to be covered up. Obviously the whole back piece, but aside from that, all that's already covered up. Fenders, there's no bolts showing. There's no bolts showing on the front bumper. I don't know what else. I gotta somehow fix this piece right here that got cracked right here. Gotta use a rivet to hold this down actually too. This side's all kind of covered up too. There's still a little bit that shows. I'm not sure why, but like I said, I'm kind of just giving up on that. I tried it a little too much already, and it's a huge amount of work, and I'm really getting over it. I seem to not be getting any progress with that. So it looks decent. It's hiding. It's really not that big of a deal. So I'm just gonna say screw it and just leave that. Yeah, so right now I'm just prepping this up, and I'm gonna primer it in a bit and see how that comes out. So I got most of the doors sanded down with basically everything. This is faded up here, and I went with it with the harder grit to bring it all the way down, and I went with it with the lighter grit, and you don't feel anything anymore. Whole backside's already done too. I'm gonna start off on this fender now, and then see how primering this side. Oh, it looks cool. Whoa! Yeah, I'm gonna primer the whole We'll sand it all down and then primer it. So I got the car all sanded down, cleaned up and everything. Washed it down with a little bit of what do you call it? Windex, and then with the one of those blue rags, and just went over it. I taped it up and everything because I'm gonna actually primer the whole side to see how everything looks. See if I don't find any pits in the fiberglass, especially. So after the primer, I'm gonna see how everything looks. If it looks good, I'm priming the rest of the car, fix whatever needs to be fixed, and then sand down the primer. Not too much, just a little bit, so that way there's still some layer over it, and we're gonna see how that looks in a bit. So I got the car primed. First I primed the car basically with just the front bumper on. I did under the side skirts, under the rear bumper. Like I said, I'm gonna actually paint the car with the bumper on due to this right here. Because this sticks out all the way over here, I had to use a bolt to push it in. I'm gonna grind on this bolt, cover it up, and do what I did with the over fenders. As you can see, there's no rivets for the over fender, and they're all on pretty good. So just with that, and probably these side ones too, so I'm going to have to paint the car with the rear bumper on. Everything else is going to come off, sides are going to come off, and the only bolt I'm going to have is this one right here. I'm going to have probably a rivet going in there. I'm going to cover up this hole that I have right here. Same thing with the front ones. This is going to have probably just one bolt, maybe none. I'm still debating on what I'm going to do with that. Front bumper fits fine alone as well too. If anything, I could do the front bumper on too, but I want to get the bumper off so I can paint it, like correctly on the inside. The hood, I didn't get it primed because I'm still debating about this whole rust right there. I'm trying to see how I can remove that. And there's a lot of clear coat fading, so it's going to be really hard to get to. But I got everything else primed, the whole side, the whole driver, passenger side, everything, roof. Everything's all done. Everything's primered how it should be, I guess. Got tape all over other stuff, but everything's good. Basically prepped up for paint. Last thing I'm just gonna need is to mount the wing and paint the roof wing separately, because that's gonna have to go on after. Well, as well the wing too, but still gotta change that mirror, and yeah, just the whole side skirt and rear bumper situation that I'm kind of like bugging with. Still gotta order my clear covers that I've been kind of lagging on, but everything else is prepped up and ready. I found no pits. This is just me going over primer again because I forgot I missed a spot there, so kind of just hit it there for a little bit. But there's no pits around the whole car, so hopefully when it's actually painted I won't find any little secrets this car is holding off on me. So well, before I paint, I'm gonna just give it a quick scuff. That way I won't have little particles just there, So the rear, or the trunk lid, has a little dent right there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a dent right there, so I'm going to bond over that and cover that up. Cool things, I got someone who actually imported a 180SX is going to want me to paint his car too. We're either painting it like a army green or maybe a black too, depending. With my car, I guess I'm just kind of decided on doing the OEM bluish green. I think I'm gonna be a lot more happy with that. I'll be happy with black too, but I think just that color is gonna pop more on the car, if anything. Black will too, but I think that color is just gonna just top it off. So I'm gonna do the blue wheels. I have the GTR style wheels, but I think I'm gonna sell those. And I'm either going to look for Blitz or Model 5s to be running on this one. I'm still debating on the wheels too, but it's just, it'll kind of go with when I get there. So, yeah, I didn't really do much. Just get the car primed, and that's about it. I really just taped everything up and just got it going. Later on, once the car gets painted, I'm going to go, or once the car gets painted and dries out for a couple weeks, I'm going to go and tape up and actually paint the trims black so everything can look new, just like I did with the S14. So that's gonna be really sick, and hopefully it comes out good. I'm really stoked on that. So I'm loving so much how this looks. Wow. Slowly. Slow. You good? Go. Slow, 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 slow. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Turn on the lights. Stop.